الله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلقكم من زوجها يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. All praise and thanks are due to Allah, Lord of the worlds, most gracious, most merciful, whom we thank, seek for help, and invoke for forgiveness. We seek refuge in Allah from the evils within ourselves, and he whom Allah guides will never be misled, and he whom Allah misguides, he will never find one to guide him. And I bear witness that there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah, and that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his slave and servant of Allah. Today's subject is on backbiting, ghibah. Today's khutbah is on ghibah. It is one of the greatest sin, and yet it is something we do every day. Discussion shall revolve around addressing few questions like what is meant by ghibah, how is ghibah defined, and why is ghibah so harmful. What is meant by ghibah? Ghibah is derived from a three-letter Arabic word, gain, ya, ba, meaning that which is unseen or absent, or means he spoke evil of him in absence. Example, backbite. What does the Quran say? It says, O you who believe, avoid much suspicion. Indeed, some suspicion is a crime. And do not spy on another, meaning another brother, one. And do not backbite one another. Would any of you like to eat the flesh of the dead brother? No, you would hate it. Fear God, and God is forgiving and merciful. Chapter 49, verse 12, Al-Hujurat. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was sitting with his companions on a date. One day, one of them was speaking badly about someone who wasn't there. As the man got up, the Prophet said, pick your teeth. But I haven't eaten anything, the man protested. No, the Prophet said, you have eaten the flesh of your dead brother. How is ghibah defined? Ghibah has been clearly defined by the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ so that we can identify it and keep away from it. In another hadith, in Sahih Muslim, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrated that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, do you know what backbiting is? The companion said, Allah and His Messenger knows best. Thereupon the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, backbiting implies you're talking about your brother in a manner which he does not like it. He was said to him, what if what I said about my brother is true? He said, if what you said about him is true, then you have backbitten him. And if it's not true, it has been slander. Therefore, it is clear that an act of ghibah is to talk about a person in such a manner that he will dislike it told in front of his face. It's one of the major sins in Islam. Why is ghibah haram? Why is it so harmful? Backbiting is harmful because it is a clear violation of sanctity of a Muslim and the sanctity of his honor. Backbiting is falling into the sacred area and indulging into haram or the forbidden. We can reflect upon just how much we lose every time we utter some bad words about another. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ once asked his companions, do you know who is bankrupt? They replied, the person among us who is bankrupt is the one who possesses neither money nor provision. The Prophet Muhammad said, "The bankrupt of my ummah is he who comes on the day of resurrection with prayer, charity, fasting to his credit. However, he had insulted this person, struck that person, and seized the wealth of another, on account of which his good deeds will be taken away from him. Then, if his good deeds are exhausted, the sins of those whom he wronged will be taken away from them and foisted upon him. Then he will be casted into the fire," brothers and sisters. We should know this hadith, understand it, and keep it in mind in order to avoid being bankrupt and loser on the day of judgment. Why do people fall into the sin of ghiba, making fun of others? Is point number one. People fall into sin because they enjoy making fun of others and belittling others.